Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. We are super excited to be here. That was amazing over there. I guess it's out that way, right? That was amazing over there. Ben told us about the tent. We were like, okay, this is going to be cool. He said, pray for the weather. And I guess that a lot of people were praying for the weather because it was great weather. We haven't had weather like this, so shout out to that. That's awesome. Big shout out to Pastor Ben for putting this together. He's been working behind the scenes. We've been communicating for months about this event. We've literally circled it on the calendar. I've been excited to come here. So now we are finally here. I'm excited. And he said there's probably more than he even expected to be here. So that is great. So we're celebrating you guys too.
That's right.
For showing up on a Friday night to pour into your marriages. All right. Thank all the staff. Everybody's been helping out and putting this event together.
Yeah, it's beautiful. We're excited to be here.
Yeah. So we're going to kick off with some fun stuff. So you want to introduce our crew?
Yeah, so we are Jackie and Stephana Bledsoe. We have 3 beautiful kids back home that we are grateful that help us. They're an extension to what we do because they make sure that the house stands while we're gone.
Yeah.
So our daughter is 23, JC. Our sons are 17 and 13, Jackson and Joshua.
Yeah.
That's our crew.
Yeah, and they've been a blessing. Like, if you're in ministry, you know the sacrifice that your kids and your family have to make.
Yeah.
So we thank them every time we go back. Thank you guys for supporting what we're doing to serve couples like you and couples all over the place.
Yeah,
right?
We say sacrifice lightly because there's a lot of Chick-fil-A happening while we're gone. That Granny and Papa, they make it's kind of a good deal for them.
True. All right, so we ready to kick it off?
Yes.
All right, so we got a game we're going to play. Everybody pull out your cell phones. Ready for this? Everybody, the talk, and everybody's getting a little bit nervous. So turn your cell phones on. Turn on the flashlight on your cell phone. And we are going to go through, you got a little chance to know about us. Some of you came up and spoke to us and said, hey, I heard you on the podcast. You know a little bit more about us, but we don't know much about you other than the couples that we were sitting with at dinner. So we want to take a couple minutes, about a minute, to learn a little bit about you. You want to kick it off with this game?
Yeah. So your flashlight is going to serve as your yes paddle. So we're going to ask you a few questions, and if the answer to the question is yes, we want you to hold up your flashlight, okay?
Ready?
All right. So who has had a long day? The whole room.
Everybody.
How about a long week? Yeah.
Awesome. What about today feeling like a long week in itself? Yeah.
All right. Whose first time at a marriage event? Nice.
All right.
That's awesome.
I love that. I love that. So who was dragged here? So you can't hide it. You can't hide it because we see the track marks right up where you got dragged to your seat. All right, so who had a fight on the way here? Everybody's putting that on. So,
like holding the light down low.
If you think having a fight on the way to attend a marriage event is bad, what about having a fight on the way to speak at a marriage event? So that's true story.
It's been there. Been
that's
there.
True story.
All right, who's celebrating an anniversary this weekend? Oh, happy anniversary. Love it. Good stuff. Anybody marry their high school sweetheart? Oh, so good. Anybody marry anybody from a different city? Oh my gosh, wow.
A lot of you. All
Different state? Okay, lots. All right.
Different country? All right. Different planet. You gotta be careful with that yes paddle. All right.
Good stuff. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and turn the flashlights off, but keep your cameras out. We're going to take a group selfie. So Jackie and I will take a picture. You all will be in our selfie. Then you will take a selfie and share that. We want you to share it and tag Happily Married Couples.
Yep. So use the hashtag Happily Married Couples right up there.
Yep.
And also tag For Happy Couples, which is our Instagram account, and CityRise.org. All right, so you're going to become influencers. After we take the picture, first make sure you're smiling, especially in this front row right here. You're going to be in our selfie. We'll be in yours. But we're going to tell you what to do with that afterwards. All right, you ready?
Let's do it.
So, count of 3, everybody smile real big. 1, 2, 3. Got it.
Did you guys get yours?
Were you smiling? You were smiling. All right, all right. So
Okay.
here's the deal. Share that. We're going to become influencers this weekend. Use the hashtag happily married couples. And at the end of the night, we're going to pick a random person who took the picture or took any picture and use that hashtag to do a giveaway. We're going to give away our marriage bundle, which is all of our best resources and things that everybody will need. If you're not there now, there will be some stuff in there for if you're in trouble, if you're doing great and want to mentor other couples. Everything is covered. So if you don't need it today, at some point you will. So make sure you share that. All right, so we're going to do a giveaway. You ready for that?
Who likes giveaways? That's okay. Good stuff. All right. So who has been married more than 40 years? Stand up if you've been married more than 40 years.
40. 40. 40.
40.
40.
Okay. Nice.
So you got 1, 2, 3. All right.
Okay. I think I see three couples.
I see 3. All right, stay standing.
Anybody more than 45 years?
Got 2 of you.
Awesome. Okay.
Right.
How many years married? 47? 47. Oh, my goodness.
Uh-oh. Hold on. So when is your anniversary? April 10th? Oh,
okay.
sorry. So you guys win. Congratulations. So we've got a copy of my book. I'll bring it down to you. The 7 Rings of Marriage. So this is for you guys. Can you guys pass that? I'll walk around. It's really good. She says so. Congrats, guys. All right. So next, we want to find out who is the shortest married couple in here. So if you have been married less than 1 year, stand up. And we'll start with just married couples, not engaged. All right. Okay. 1, 2, 3. All right. You got 3 of you. All right. Less than 6 months.
Wow. All 3 of you.
Less than 3 months. Okay.
Oh, wow.
2. They're having a discussion. They don't know when they got married. I thought that was only a problem when you're 10, 20 years involved, but not just 3 months. So you guys, how many months have you been married? 3 weeks. Awesome.
Good stuff. Good
All right.
stuff.
So we also got a copy of the book for you, but since you've been married 3 weeks, you can run up here and grab it. So I'm going to hold it right here. Congratulations to you guys. That is awesome. What's your anniversary? Wait. Was that, did one of you say the third? Okay, so he was wrong the first time. He doesn't know. Congratulations.
Love it. All
right, so we also heard that there's some engaged couples here. Is that true? Stand up if you're engaged, currently engaged.
Love it.
All right.
No better place to be. That's awesome.
So do you guys have dates already on the calendar, wedding dates? Yeah, you do? Awesome. Are we invited? All right, no. So we got something for you guys too, but we won't go into it. I'll share it with you later. Come find me afterwards, and we got something for you guys too. Because the old and youngest couples married, they took all the good stuff, but we got something for you too. All right, we got another game. This is going to be fun. You guys are going to have some really fun. So we needed a husband who was really strong and courageous. 2 husbands who I thought were really strong and courageous. So we spoke to a couple of them before, and they volunteered to say that they are really strong and courageous. So I was like, you're going to need it for what we're getting ready to do. So you guys know who you are. Pastor Ben and Pastor, is it Kirby? Kirby, all right, we need you guys coming up with your wives. All right, I'm going to slide this back a little bit. So you guys are going to be involved out there too, and you're going to have a good time. So make sure you get your cameras out, because these are the ones you want to tag happily married couples after this.
Yeah, we'll have one couple over here.
So,
and one couple there, yep.
All right, so here's the game. Stephana has, I'll let you talk about what you got in your hand.
Yeah. So we're going to play a kissing game. And you all are going to help us be the judge. So I've got 2 brand new tubes of lit fire red lipstick.
It's called Fire Red. All right. You explain it?
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna set a timer. Do you need help getting it open? We good?
They paid us to be up here to get kissed by their wife.
So you know nobody else's lips have been on that tube. It's sealed. Okay, so we have 30 seconds. Ladies, you can turn your back if you want to put your lipstick on and get yourself all dolled up if you need to.
So
Can they reapply?
They can
If they
reapply
need
if
to.
they need to reapply because
They
we
can
want to make
reapply.
sure it's seen.
That is a great
Absolutely.
question.
Great
All
question.
right, so they're going to get lipstick on their lips, fresh lipstick, and their job is to see how many kisses they can get on their husband in 30 seconds. Now, we are in the church. This is Flourishing Family Week, so kisses above the head, neck and above. That's it. That's it. All right. So when they're done, you guys are going to help us judge. So are you guys all ready?
Tell us when.
All right. So I've got the clock. I'm going to count down 5 seconds, and when we get to 0, we'll start. Ready? All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Step back a little bit, babe.
Love it.
She needs to reapply. We still got 10 seconds. All right, count it down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop kissing. Give him a hand, give him a hand, give him a hand. All right, so here's what we're going to, can you guys see him out there? Can you guys see him? All right, so here's what we're going to do. So you guys are going to vote for who you think has the most kisses. We're not going to count all the kisses up here, but you guys are going to look and see who you think has. Now, he's got an advantage because we share the same hairstyle, so he can get more kisses up there. You lost out with that, but he also has a lot here. So, all right, so vote here first. Who do you think? Right here with your applause. With your applause.
Look at the hand.
All right. And how about over here? Oh, I think we got a winner.
It is Pastor Kirby with the victory. Give him a hand, guys.
All right.
So when Pastor Ben found out he was going to be doing this, he said, you do have those makeup remover wipes, right?
Yes.
He made him want to make sure he wasn't wearing lipstick all the rest of the day. All right, give him a hand, guys. All right.
Good stuff.
You guys
Love
got
it. Thank you,
that
guys.
you can use that in the future when something goes down. You're like, okay, remember that time we got you kissing? All right, cool. All right, so let's jump into it. So, ready? So Dr. Gary Chapman says that marriages either grow or regress. They never stand still. So I think a lot of times couples, us included, think that because we're not having the major problems, or this couple over here is like, well, they're going through that. We're not. That we're in a good place and we're actually growing. But if we're not growing, then we are actually regressing. There's never a time that we're standing still, right? So what happens when we're standing still is we can't grow, and the key to growing is connection. So today, we're going to talk to you and work with you on how to connect in marriage. And the key to a strong connection is communication, all right? His name, George Bernard Shaw, says the single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place. So a lot of times we think we're communicating, but we're really not communicating.
Yeah, it's good.
And so we're going to break down some things that you can do today. And we found that there are 5 different depths to communication.
Yeah.
Dennis Rainey calls 5 different levels. We've got an adaptive version of that we're going to go through today. And the goal of your communication is to get to the deepest level of communication, which we call truth in love, where you're really transparent and intimate in your communication. So that way we can continue to grow and feel that connection. So Will Smith, who's a Will Smith fan? All right, so he still got some fans after the infamous Oscar debacle. All right, cool. So Will Smith did a show called, I forgot what the name of the show was, Welcome to Planet Earth on Disney+. And in this, he had different episodes where he'd go to different remote parts of the world and explore different things in the world. And one episode that caught my attention was where he went below sea level. So they got in this submersive, this basically little glass or plastic bubble with 2 people. 2 people could fit. They're like shoulder to shoulder. And they went down to 3,000 feet below sea level. And so the further you get down, of course, there's no light. So it's like pitch. When they don't have the submersive lights on, it's pitch black. You can't see in front of your face. You can't see your hand. And so they get down to that 3,000 feet below sea level. And they're like, okay, we want to show you something. And so they flick the lights of the submersive on and off. And when they do that, there's some organisms down there at 3,000 feet below sea level, and this beautiful light show, bioluminescent light show just takes off. And Will's like, oh my goodness. So you see different colors and lights and shapes at the bottom. Like he didn't think anything was living down there. And the crazy part about it is Will doesn't know how to swim. So he was terrified to go down there. So the whole time, the deeper he's going, he's like, I don't want to go any further. But when he got deep beneath the surface, he saw this beautiful thing that he would have never experienced had he not ventured into something that he was a little bit scared to go down. So that's the same thing that happens in our marriage communication. We stay surface level, and we don't get to see the beauty of that connection and that communication with our spouse unless we risk a little bit, venture, and then when we get there, we're going to see something that amazes us that we had never seen before.
Yeah, so those depths of communication, the very top level is common communication. So in common communication, you're really not sharing much. So if I were having a conversation with Jackie and I said, how are our finances doing?
It's fine.
So he's not really giving me much. I don't know anything about our finances, but it's fine, right? Next level is nightly news. So what happens on the nightly news if you watch the news at night? Yeah, it's just facts. You're just getting the facts. So how are our finances?
Yeah, we have $100 in our checking account.
Facts, right? That's about it. I don't know what that means. I don't know how that's impacting things, right? The next level is cautious disclosure. So then you're moving into what do you think about it, right?
Yeah.
So how are our finances?
Yeah, so we have $100 in our checking account, and I think you should return the Amazon boxes that I saw on our patio yesterday.
So he's giving me a little bit more. I understand there's a problem with what is fine or what's there. And then the next level, and let me pause there because a lot of us can stay at that level. We say levels 1, 2, and 3 are really above surface or just at the surface. And we just don't venture any further than that and don't really realize that we're not going very deep. The next level is level 4, which is high risk, high reward. And so there we're sharing how we feel about what the facts are. So how are our finances?
Yeah, we have $100 in our bank account, and I'm not sure, I'm concerned that we aren't going to be able to pay our bills this month.
So level 5, where we're hoping to get to, truth and love, is sharing transparently. Yeah. So he's telling me then at level 5 how that's impacting him, right?
Yeah. So we have that $100 in our account. I am frustrated because we budget, and every month it seems that you go outside of the budget. So now I'm at a point where I don't think we're ever going to get out of here, and I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you go ahead.
Yeah, so as we go through those, we're looking at it and we're like, okay, where are we? Like Stephana said, level 3 is, or the depth 3 is right there at surface level. Most of us camp out there. And so if you think about it, you look at your communication and you're like, okay, what can we do to break through that?
So what we want to do is not just us to you have conversation, but we want you to have communication with each other. So we're going to take a minute, we're going to pause, and we want you to answer the question, which level do you find yourself camping out at in your communication? Is it level 1, 2, 3, 1 to 5? Where do you think you spend the most time? And then why do you think you spend so much time there? So take a minute, think about that, and then discuss it with your spouse.
Yep, so the questions are up there now, and then you can see the different levels in case you forgot. So take a few minutes. We'll turn a little music on, and you guys just about 3 minutes to do this. Some awesome. So make sure I'm on. All right, we love this when we do this at conferences and we see the couples talking together, because it's not about what we say. It's really about fostering the communication between you guys. And it sounds like you guys went in. So I want to ask this as we come out of that, just by a show of hands. So you probably learned something as you're having that conversation about yourself and about where you guys kind of get stuck at. By a show of hands, who finds themselves typically around level 2? Raise your hand if that's you. That's nightly news, where you find a lot of just fact sharing. You're giving the information, but you're not giving much more than that. Who are my people who are high risk, high reward that jump in? It's like, okay, this is risky. Something can happen, good, bad, or other. Who's that? Raise your hand.
Yep.
Love it, love it, love it. And that high risk, high reward is exactly what it is, because once you break through the surface, it's risky. And you may find yourself right around level 3, where you're kind of gauging what your spouse, their body language, their facial expression. Like, should I take another step and say what I really feel or what I really think.
Right.
And if that body language looks like it's not receptive, kind of shut down. So who are my level 5ers that get deep?
It's awesome.
Love it, love it, love
Yep.
it. Now, here's the thing. No matter where you are, it's just something to make you aware. And nobody's going to, as a couple, constantly live around level at truth and love. You're not. That would be exhausting to have those type of conversations all the time. But if you're not having them at all, then now how do we get to that point to get to that truth and love conversation? And that's what we want to help you guys walk through. So as we're walking through these different depths of communication, there are things that get in the way. There are things that impact our communication. There are things that keep us stuck at level 2. I think that for a while we were stuck at level 2 and level 3 and just wouldn't break through. And we had to have some tough conversations, which were hard, but we went there. So one of the first things that impedes your ability to continue to go deeper in your communication and end up with that connection that you want is it's not safe. And so as you're communicating with your spouse, like I said, I'm talking to Stephana or vice versa, and I'm going to share something that's deep that I'm afraid how it may make me look or how she'll receive it. And if that body language is not there, I'm like, oh, it's not safe for me to stay there. And so what do? I kind of withdraw, kind of thinking like going into the water, right? You're like, okay, is this water okay? Let me dip my toe, but it's wavy, it's a current's high, or there's something out there. I don't want to get my whole body in there. I'm gonna put a little bit to see what it's like, and then I'm gonna come back out.
Yeah.
Right? So we gotta make a safe place. So how do we make a safe place to foster truth and love, to foster true transparency in our communication? All right. So, and this is something that is for both the speaker as well as the listener. So both of us have to work hard at this in order to foster a safe place for us to transparently speak.
Yeah.
All right. So in the book of James, chapter 1, verse 19. James says, my dear brothers and sisters, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. So as I look at this verse right here, the first thing that jumps out is he's talking about the pace of which we do things in relation to communication. And so we are to be quick to listen. How many of us can really raise our hand and say, okay, I'm typically quick to listen? I can't. That's not me at all. As Stephana will share with you in just a minute. But how many of us are slow to speak? Again, that's not me. I'm the opposite of that. But as we are thinking about our communication, think of your different interactions and your spouse is saying something. Are you quick to listen? Are you rushing to really listen and find out what they're talking about? Or are you trying to get what you want out of your head and out of your mouth?
Yeah, it's easy. Like Jackie said, you can tell right here as we are talking to you, one of us speaks very quickly and one of us does not speak very quickly. And so it's very easy for us to be on opposite ends. So we have to be intentional, both in listening and in expressing to one another in order for us to have a safe place to converse. So great listeners plus great expressors equal a great connection in marriage. And that's what our goal is. So as a great listener, what is a practical thing that I can do to help foster a safe place in communication? That would be giving Jackie my focused attention. So instead of me having my phone in one hand and kind of half in and half out, I am literally focused on what it is that he has to say. I'm making his communication a priority.
Yeah, and that could derail many conversations. If I've got something that I want to say and it's a little risky, and I look up and I say it and she was in her phone, I'm probably not going to repeat that. So when she does that, it gives me her focused attention. Now I feel comfortable. At least she's looking at me, she's engaged, and she's going to receive what I say. And so as far as the speaker is to think before I speak. I don't always do that. Sometimes what comes out here quicker than I want it to, and I wish it would not have. So we have to think, is this edifying? Is this encouraging? How is this going to be received by Stephana? And will she feel better after the conversation, or will she feel low or worse?
Mm-hmm. Sometimes we think about our family of origin and how we communicate. We learn habits in communication from our family of origin, right?
Without a doubt. So I'll share this. So we mentioned our kids. They kind of watch themselves, but my parents live literally a 4-minute drive door to door from our house. And so they're, along with my mother-in-law, usually watching the kids and kind of overseeing and helping out with them when they need them. And so every time we leave, the day before we leave, I go sit down with my dad, And we kind of lay out, okay, here's where they have to be. You know, Joshua, our youngest, has to be here. Here's the schedules where they conflict, and they're in different places. And so I'm sitting down with this, one of our recent events, and I'm sitting down, and as I'm trying to go through with it, I cannot get a full sentence or even a phrase out without him blurting out an answer or another question. And then before I get a chance to answer that new question that he asked, he's asking another question. And so I'm sitting there and I'm really getting frustrated. And I think it was the Holy Spirit was like, that's what you do to Stephana. So I have learned from my dad the style of communication, and it happens in our marriage. And I really did not realize it 20-some years in marriage until that moment where I'm trying to sit down with my dad and tell him what's going to happen with the kids. And then I had to apologize. Did I apologize?
You did apologize.
I did apologize.
And sometimes we don't want to fix her, right? So as a expressor, sometimes we have to communicate that I just want you to hear this. I just have to share something with you. I don't need you to fix it. And vice versa, the listener can ask that question, okay, do you want me to help you solve this? Do you want a suggestion? Do you want any feedback? Or do you just want me to hear you? That's a good way to approach the nail in the head, right?
That one thing right there has helped our communication so much because I immediately go into fix-it mode. But just someone taught me that. It's like, okay, ask them, what do you need from me right now?
Yeah.
How can I best love you right now? And so if they say, I just need you to listen, I'm gonna do like the dude in the video and just kind of zip it. And he was dying a slow death inside. I could see it. Because that nail, he wanted to just reach and pull it out. But that will do so much more for your communication and the connection than yanking that nail out, fixing that problem.
Yeah. So don't be a fixer. Also, try to feel what they're feeling, right? As a listener, you want to try to put yourself in their shoes and understand what it is that they're expressing by feeling it.
Yeah. And then and share it for you if you're expressing, if you're talking, share what's really going on. How many of you have said to your spouse, I can't read your mind? Let me raise my hand. I've said that a lot. So Stephana will share, you'll have conversation, and she's not really sharing what's on her mind. So I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to get right now? Babe, I need you to tell me exactly what it is. I always use this. I say, I just need the headline. Give me the headline, the bullet point of what I need to focus on very, very plainly. Don't talk around it. Give me that specific headline, and then we can operate from there. Mm-hmm. True?
That's not how you express, but that's how you listen.
Oh.
Yes.
I wasn't listening.
Summarize what you heard. That's a good way to be on the same page. So if we're having a conversation, I'm going to tell you, this is what I think I understood you saying.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And so repeat for the other person, repeat back what you heard. So let's kind of walk through that. So I go to Stephana. I was like, okay, babe, this is a really heavy week for me. It's really busy. Got a lot of work stuff, a lot of projects going on. Joshua has basketball game and basketball practice that he needs to get picked up from. And normally I would take it. But this week is just not the week. And he's also got this big test coming up, and he really needs help walking through studying with it. So in order for us to do that, I can't do everything. I'm not going to be able to do all that.
Yeah, so me on the other end would say, this is what I hear you saying. This week is heavy. Here are 2 ways that I can help you through this week. Get Joshua to basketball and make sure that he's prepared for the test he has this week.
Yep.
We're then connected, right?
Yep. So now we're connected. I'm like, yes, thank you. And I feel so much better because she heard me. She listened to what I said. She repeated it back. And now we're on the same page. So later on in the week, when Joshua gets picked up, I don't have to feel like, oh, I missed it or I've sacrificed work or something else.
Right. Yep.
All right. So another one is suspend judgment and don't, this is the listener, suspend judgment and don't defend. So sometimes we go immediately and we start to judge whatever they said or we start to defend ourselves because maybe we've done something, maybe we know we've done it and they brought it up. And so now we're starting to judge or we're starting to defend, and that is not going to help the connection in our communication. All right. And then as a speaker, beware of anger, because if you are kind of trying to deliver a message, and maybe it is a true message, maybe it is facts, but you are beating them over the head with the message or you're angry and expressing it in that way, you probably shut down them listening at that point right there. So beware of your anger when you're coming and try to get that in check before we move forward. All right. So there's another thing that keeps us from communicating at a deep and true and transparent level, and that is we are fighting the wrong enemy. All right. So we're fighting the wrong enemy. So we have a Roku device. Who uses a Roku device in their house? So control your streaming stuff. So Roku is great. But the worst problem with the Roku is the batteries seem to run out like once a month. Anybody experience that? It's like we got like 5 different Rokus, and every month we're changing AAA batteries for the Roku remote. And so then I found the solution to that is Roku has an app on the phone. So you can download their Roku app, and you can have remote control. So I don't care. We don't have to invest in AAA batteries anymore. And so one night, JC and Jackson, our daughter and our oldest son, were watching a movie together. They agreed on something. We're going to watch it together. They're in the living room watching their show. And I'm not in the other room. And I was like, oh, I got this great idea. I'm going to pull out my Roku app on my phone, and I'm going to have a little fun with them. So while they're watching their movie, I grab my Roku remote on my phone, and I pause it. I hit rewind. I hit fast forward. I go back to the main menu. And I'm just kind of listening and watching the engagement to him. So first thing he's like, why did you pause the movie? Why are you rewinding the movie? Are you sitting on the remote? So they're just going back and forth, have no idea that I'm there pushing buttons. So I jump out. Gotcha, joke's on you. I'm laughing, hee, and all that type of stuff. But they were really going in and going at each other because they didn't realize I was behind pushing their buttons. So a lot of times we are fighting with our spouse, and that's not the right enemy. That your spouse is not your enemy. So remember that your spouse is not your enemy. No matter when they say things, do things that may hurt or offend you, your spouse is not your enemy. So in the book of Ephesians, Paul's writing a letter to the church of Ephesus, and he says this in chapter 6, verse 12 and 13. For our struggles is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Therefore, put on the full armor of God. So now here we are, and we've got this spouse who is flawed, just like we're flawed. And a lot of times their flaws show, and we start to fight each other. And there's an enemy behind the scenes influencing, doing different things that are causing issues in our marriage. So we focus on fighting here, our flesh and blood, our spouse, then we're fighting the wrong battle. Right. And we're aiding that enemy that is behind the scenes. That enemy, of course, is the devil. The enemy is Satan. All right, so we want to focus on where is our real battle? Where is our real fight? And it's not there. 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8 says, stay alert. Watch out for your great enemy, the devil. He prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. So we're under attack. We can't attack one another. Your spouse is not your enemy. Yeah, remember that.
Yeah. So what are some practical things that we can do in order to fight the right battle? We can read his word. That's the very first thing. If we will read our word, he gives us a blueprint on how to live this covenant relationship out, how to do it in a way that honors him. Next, we pray his word. So early on in marriage, Jackie and I can remember not being comfortable praying out loud together. So we would pray over the kids, we'd pray over the meals, but praying out loud was a little challenging. So praying his word is what we need. And then do what it says, right? Pray his word, read his word, pray his word, and do his word.
Yeah. Very simplified, but how many of us, when we look at ourselves, are actually creating a habit of that and doing it on a regular basis? How much time are we feeding our spirit realm, our spirit body, right. By reading his word, by praying it back to him? If you want God to really hear and do what you're asking of him, pray his word back to him. He will never go against his word. And then what you receive from him, do it. Put that into practice. All that you've learned and heard from me, put it into practice. Yep. That will be it's a simple thing, but so very profound in your marriage. And as we look at ourselves as believers, as we look at ourselves as husband and wife, a lot of times we're not doing that. And it's a good reality check to kind of measure ourselves in that and get back to it. All right. So we need another couple. We need one more couple. Now, fellas, you're not going to get lipstick all on your face and head this time. So we do need a couple, a husband and wife, to come up here and help us with an illustration. You're going to have some help with other people. Right. But you won't have makeup. You won't have to wash your face, none of that stuff. So somebody different that has not been up here yet. So fellas, raise your hand. Ladies, raise your husband's hand for them. But we do need somebody to come and step out with this. All right, I see some people talking. Do I see you guys talking? Uh-oh, there it is. Come on. Come on. Give them a hand, encourage them. All right, we're going to go down here. You can put it on the bottom steps up here. So we're going to meet you guys down here. All right. So we'll meet you right here in the front. Sorry. Let me bring
Where
this
we're
down.
going?
Oh, she's coming too. Yeah. What's your name?
David.
David. Good to meet you, David.
Cindy.
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 David and Cindy. Give them a hand, guys. All right. So we're going to walk right back down and we're going to
Yeah,
stand
we're
in
going to
front.
do it on the floor.
All right. So David and Cindy, you can stand right here in the middle, just stand shoulder to shoulder, facing that way right in the middle aisle. All right. So you want to take the lady side and I'll take this side?
Yep.
All right. So David and Cindy are great at connecting in marriage. And this whole conference, this whole day is about us trying to connect in marriage and using communication as a tool to connect. So you guys are going to help us and help David and tell me,
Cindy.
David and Cindy in their connection. So what we want from you guys in the audience is just think about your daily routines, your daily responsibilities, your weekly routines and responsibilities, or even monthly. And we just need you to raise your hand and yell one of them out. So I'll start with the husband. So fellas, tell me something that it could be a hobby, it could be a commitment, such as being a coach or something like that. Just somebody raise your hand and yell out something that you do. Exercise. All right, so you hear that, babe?
Exercise,
Exercise.
yes. Ladies,
So
yes.
what we're going to do, we're going to ask you, just you by yourself, exercise. So come on up and join us real quick. Stephana has a paper. She's writing exercise on it. So you're going to grab that paper, hold it up, and you're going to stand right here in between
David and Cindy.
All right,
So
you
you
guys
scoot apart
spread apart,
just a little bit.
Step back right next to them.
There we go.
All right, so need somebody else. What else? What's a daily thing that you do, a weekly, a monthly thing that you do? Laundry.
Laundry.
Come on up. Awesome. So Stephana's writing your paper. You got laundry. Grab it. And then, so you'll slide that side with
There you go.
stay with her, and you'll come right in between them, but on the husband's side. All right?
Ladies, something else that we do. Week to week, day to day, month to month. Work.
Work. Like the whole room gets up. All right, so work. Come on up, grab your sheet of paper. Stephana's going to position you. So as you grab a sheet of paper, just
You
keep
go.
spacing apart.
Yep.
Ladies line up on that side. Fellas will line up on this side. All right, we'll be back to the fellas. Fellas, what else we got? I know there's some golf players. What we got? Raising kids. Give that man a
kids.
hand. Come on up on that one. That is serious. That is the biggest time consumer that we have right now, at least our household. All right, raising kids.
There we go.
All right.
Ladies, something else we do.
Carpool
Oh my
mom.
goodness,
Carpool.
yes.
I love it. Love it.
Yes, that's great.
Have you ever missed your assignment on the carpool? We've missed our assignment before. All right, so slide in there. All right, back to the fellas. What else? What else we got? Church. Come on up. Church. So that could be showing up to church. That could be showing up to a small group. That could be Bible study during the week. Church. Back on the lady side, babe.
Yep, ladies, something else we do.
Oh, self-care. That is a good one. Yes, come on up. Self-care. That is a good one. So, especially in this post-COVID world where self-care has become a big buzzword, it's something that we realize we really need to do.
That's
so we got to
right.
take care of ourselves before we can take care of our other things in our lives.
It's good.
It's a high
We
five
like
on
that one,
All right,
right?
fellas. What else? I know the ladies don't have more stuff. We got some other stuff around the house. Fix things around the house. So
Yep.
fixing the right things, not trying to fix our spouse or the problem, but fixing the things around the house. Good stuff. Oh, I hear somebody else has got one, a lady. So grab your sheet.
Did we hear something else, ladies?
He's supporting his buddy.
Somebody else say something? Chores, yes. Who said that?
Chores. Chores, is that what that one was?
Yes, chores.
Oh, yeah. Chores. So you got
Okay, you're
chores.
standing on the other side of
All right.
Cindy.
So think about some of the
Here we
fellas,
go.
some of the commitments that we have. Do we have any youth? What is it? Travel or coaching? Yes, that's a big one. That has been. Come on up, grab your sheet. That has been one of our challenges. Is I coach youth baseball. I used to coach travel baseball, travel AAU basketball, and
Awesome.
took up a lot of time.
Yep, that's a big one. Something else? One more, ladies? We're just doing one more, babe? Or keep
Yep,
going?
we keep going. So we got ladies. Talk to our kids. Having truth and love conversation with our kids. Good
Yep.
one. All right, come on up. So that's a big one. All right, how many we got?
There you go. You're welcome. Right,
All right, one more from the fellas. Fellas, what else we got? Ball game. Come on
Ball
up.
game.
Yes. It doesn't have to be work responsibilities. Ball game is good. Come on up. I was waiting on the golf, all that. I guess nobody's golfing too hot in Houston. But all right, we'll take one more lady, one more guy.
Okay, one more, ladies. Cooking. Yes.
You gotta eat. Yes.
That's so
Is
good.
that all the fellas clapping, or was that everybody clapping? Because I was like, yes, we need to cook. We need to eat food. What? You came all the way from the back. That was an important one. We got to eat. All right,
That's
fellas,
a good one.
more. Think
So you
about
come
go
over
down
here
there
by
on the lady
Cindy.
side.
Yep.
Fellas, what else we got? Think about something outside of the house. Taking kids to music practice, basketball practice, baseball practice, all that. Come on up.
My handwriting's gotten worse and worse.
All right, so we'll cut it right there. So I'm the worst with names, David and Cindy. Awesome. I'll give myself a hand on that one. So David and Cindy started out as this connected couple right here, shoulder to shoulder. Couldn't separate them. Then as they just started living life, doing all the different things that they're doing, you can see them all up here written. They can't even see each other right now. Can't even see each other. And notice we didn't say any vices or anything like that. We didn't say, okay, I'm hanging out at the club all night. I'm addicted to this, or whether substance abuse or something like that. These are all legitimate things that we have to do. Many to function, many to take care of our kids, to work, to eat, all these different things. We call these little foxes. All right, so we'll let you guys go back and see. Thank you guys for sharing that. Thank you. So we call these the little foxes. And the thing about these little foxes is they seem harmless. You see the picture up there, right? So these little foxes seem very, very harmless. Little bitty things that don't really, do anything. But Solomon in the book Song of Songs gives us a grave warning about this. He says, in Song of Songs 2:15, catch all the foxes, those little foxes, before they ruin the vineyard of love, for the grapevines are blossoming. So wisest man to walk this earth gives us a warning about little foxes, things that seem innocent, things that seem nice, things that seem that we, are basic stuff that we do in our lives. But he says they are ruining your vineyard or your garden of love. So that connection that we just showed right there with David and Cindy that got separated just by living life is causing some major issues with it. So the thing about foxes, though, here's the big warning. I think what Solomon was talking about is if we go up to a grapevine, we go up and we pluck off 1, 2, or even a cluster of grapes. Clean, pulled off, everything's good. But the little foxes, they don't have the ability to do that. So what do? They ravish the grapevine from the root. So here they are trying to get fed, do whatever they need to do. And these little foxes are tearing up the root of that grapevine. So if the root gets torn up, what happens to that grapevine?
Yeah.
Dies, stops growing. So now we got all these little things. We're very distracted. We're very busy. And again, all those were great things. They were virtuous things that we have to do to function. But you can see how easily they can creep up like the little foxes and destroy our marriage at the root. So we want you guys to be aware that will impact your communication, that will impact your connection,
Right.
And that will stunt the growth of your marriage.
Yeah. And so what we want to talk about are some intentional ways that we can work on our, what we call marriage investment plan. So we want to pour into our marriage. We want to invest into our marriage so that it continues to grow. And so the first thing that we subscribe to is daily marriage meetings. And so when our kids were younger, we called these parent meetings, and we were a homeschool family. And so at the time, we would go away for community day or whatever it was. We'd go to the grocery, do all our running around, our errands and so forth. And when we come home, we'd go into the bedroom, close the door, and we'd have a parent meeting. That parent meeting might consist of talking about the calendar, talking about the finances, talking about the schedule for the kids' schooling, youth sports, whatever it was, or it might have been no talking, might have been some adult time.
Yeah,
Just-
we do what adults do when they're by themselves and they're married in their room.
But the deal was, it was 15 minutes. Kids were not to interrupt us. Jackie would say, do not knock on the door unless 911 cannot help you. Do not.
No interruptions. What do you think they did?
Every time. No, they did get used to it, and it did become a regular rhythm for us. But that 15 minutes a day, it doesn't sound like much, but when you do it on a day-to-day basis, it really does invest and impact your marriage.
Yeah. We also do it now. It's one of our favorite things to do is neighborhood walks.
Yeah.
And so that'll be our 15. Well, it's actually 30 minutes there. We go for a 30-minute walk. That has given so much life to our marriage. And just this year, I found out that is one of Stephana's favorite things to do as a couple.
Yep. Another thing that we subscribe to is weekly date nights. So we do almost everything in our life on a regular rhythm. We show up to church. We show up to,
Baseball
sports practice. We show up to the music lessons. All the things that we do, we show up weekly. But for this relationship, it's like it's negotiable. So what Jackie and I began to do is calendaring it. We put it on our calendar and we show up for it. We make sure that we make it a priority just as much as everything else that we put on the calendar.
Yep.
Then we learn and develop together. So we read a book, go to a conference, do something together. I wanted to share this resource. It's by John Mark Comer, and the book is called Relentless Elimination of Hurry. It is life-changing. We all run at such a pace that we don't even realize how hurried life is just in general. Everything that we're doing, we're rushing off to the next thing. We're doing things, multitasking, doing something while we're doing something else. That book is life-changing, and it really does show you, how it's impacting our spiritual life as well as our relationship. And then get away. Once a year, get away, go to a retreat, do something, take a vacation without the kids, just the two of you to invest in your marriage.
Yep. So we started off talking about Dr. Gary Chapman, marriages either grow or regress, they never stand still. So we want to help you have a growing marriage. So here's what we're getting ready to do. We're going to transition, and I forgot to say this, Pastor Ben told me, but the email, they had his email up earlier for you guys to email questions. If you have a question, you can still shoot it right now. We'll have an opportunity in just a minute to answer those. So in the meantime, we're going to transition. We're going to do another Connect Through conversation. We're going to give you guys a chance to talk together, and then while you're doing that, we're going to transition up here and get the stage ready to do Q&A. Also, one of the ways that we can help you guys is we shared earlier the marriage bundle. Well, we have a special marriage night offer that is today for being at the event, expires at midnight, for you guys to get all of our marriage resources for $97. That's a 75% discount. I think it's $379 or something like that. So again, our summits, our Bible study, our best courses, what else is in there? Our 21-day challenge. There is a resource for no matter what stage, for storms in marriage, if you want to develop your friendship, if you're wanting to be a mentor or be mentored by someone, all that is in there. So at some point you will need it. So this is the day to take advantage of it. QR code, scan it, $97, save that money. So now we want you guys to turn to each other and have a connected conversation. Look at the screen and you will see the questions that you're going to answer. What is the one thing that you will commit to starting immediately to grow your and deepen your connection and grow your marriage? All right, so take a few minutes to do that. Share with your spouse and set a date to come back and follow up on that to hold yourselves accountable. While you do that, we're going to get ready for Q&A.
Yep.
Just a reminder here, you can email your Q&A live to me here. My email will be on the screen, ben.hayes, no E in Hayes, ben.hayes@cityrise.org. So you can email those to me, and we're going to start asking kind of those questions as they come in. We're a little bit behind on our schedule, so we may not get to quite as many as I hope for, but we're going to try to get some of your questions answered for Jackie and Stephana. Let's give them a hand. I'm having fun with these guys. This is a lot of fun. I tell you, the little foxes, man, that's convicting. So many little foxes. I don't know about the other brothers in here, the other guys, in the room, but I'm liking this, 15 minutes with the door closed business. I'm thinking, this is a great idea, guys. Come on.
If you remember one thing, remember that.
Every guy's going to remember that one. All right, so I'm going to be checking the email here. Fire those questions away. If you have any, we will send them to you. or I'll read them out here, but we're going to start with a couple here. Let me pull this one up. So this is really good. So Jackie and Stephana, this one's a little dangerous, right? Somebody super brave asking this one. How do you tell your spouse that they need to set boundaries with their parents? In other words, the in-laws. Yeah.
Good.
How do you deal with the in-laws?
Good. First, we forgot to set these boundaries in here. No nudging. When you hear those questions like that out there, no nudging at all. So
Yeah. Hands like this, right?
Right. You want to start or you want me to start?
Yeah, I would say this is a real issue that we had early in marriage, and we had to recognize that we are now Team Bledsoe. So Jackie and I are on the same page, and though we love our families very deeply, and I'm thankful that we do have healthy relationships with our in-laws on both sides, there was a time early on where it was an adjustment for everybody to recognize that this is now one. We are in a covenant relationship, and so we had to first, I'd say, recognize that, and then share that together. That.
And it was my side of the family. It was siblings. There were siblings that were having conversations and were not liking what they saw here with our union and where it was going. And we had to stick together. And I maybe there's, depending on if it's mom or something, maybe it's a little more touchy. But I think you have to set those boundaries. You have to come to agreement first. Right? So, okay, here's our boundaries, and you both have to agree, and then you got to adhere to those. And then you may have to have that tough love conversation with your mom, dad, siblings, whoever it may be. But I think when you do that, you come out stronger. And I believe that it may take time, they will respect that and honor your relationship when they would have never honored it if you didn't set those boundaries.
Yeah.
That's so good. Thank you. So for the record, since this is being recorded on the internet forever, my mother-in-law is amazing. She is awesome. She truly is. She truly is. All right, so we got some more questions coming in here. So this one's kind of sweet. This can be a probably quick one. What's your favorite memory together?
Ooh, that is a great question. What is our favorite memory together? Can I share it?
Yep.
This is just recent.
Can she read your mind just like that? Let's right here on stage. They already know. Okay.
It's a picture that we showed earlier of our kids in that picture, the family picture. That was in the Cayman Islands. And we'd never been on a mission trip before. And it wasn't really a mission trip. It was a trip there to speak. For me, it evolved into a trip where all of our kids got to serve in a camp. We were at 2 different camps over 2 weeks period. And the boys got to run a basketball camp. Like we eat, drink, sleep basketball. I've coached them for years. So they got to teach kids their age, younger and older, basketball. Our daughter, the media major, got to run a photography camp, and Stephana got to minister to the young girls. And we had an amazing time there. We connected. We had to quarantine first, so we got that, don't get a chance to do anything else but with each other. And it was one of the most refreshing times as a family, and we got the couple time, I believe, as well, even though we were kind of stuck in the house for a little bit. Kicked the kids out. Kids made friends and actually went and hung out with other kids there. So that's it.
Yeah, that's so good. That's sweet. Did you want to add to that?
No,
something different, and that one was good?
Was that right?
That was good.
So we would have won the newlywed game with that question.
You'd have won. Yeah, they would have.
We would have won with that one.
We did that last year, the newlywed game.
Yeah.
That was fun. I want to ask one because I get the mic. I get to ask one, right? So this is fun. So we're looking at you guys tonight, right? And you're at a place of maturity. You know, your life is together. You're connected, right? You're doing good as a couple. You're raising godly kids. Has it always been this way? Is there a part of your story where it took a little while to get it together? Maybe somebody's here and they're like, man, that seems like a million miles away. Give me just a quick, I know it'll probably take a long time to unpack that, but what's the quick version of where did you guys start and how did you get here?
Yeah, well, I snickered to myself when you said you got it all together because we're still working. We are still a work in progress. So a lot of the things that we share when we come up and share at these conferences are things that God had to allow us to go through so we could share it, because we can't come up here and speak and teach from a place that we can't relate to. And so just like he sent his son as a human to relate to human life, so now he can better relate to us, it's the same here. So, I mean, our story is very messy. And so we don't have a whole lot of time to go into it, but our daughter's 23 years old. We've been married for 22 years. She was 10 months when we were married. And that coming into marriage with a new child, we were young, caused a lot of challenges. I was unfaithful to Stephana when we were dating, even after our daughter was born. And so trust issues. So the beginning years of our marriage were probably the messiest and roughest that you could imagine. But what got us here is during those years, we connected with other couples. First, it started with not our senior pastor, but a couple of ministers and pastors and their wives at our church. They began to teach us things about the marriage that God wants for us, a biblically based marriage based on his biblical principles. And that changed our mindset, that changed our hearts, and changed everything about our life. And so it didn't get perfect overnight, because as we said, we're still a work in progress and we are learning and growing. But that foundation and the commitment to say, okay, God, whatever you have for us in this phase, we're going to say yes to. We're going to do our best to it. We're going to mess up, trip, fall along the way. But we know that you will never leave us nor forsake us. And there's something greater on the other side as we keep going.
Amen. Praise God. Yeah. Give a hand to that. Just remember, our mess becomes our ministry, right? And our mess becomes our message. And nobody in the room has always had it all together, and we're all a work in progress. And so I love what you said about community, and that we just got to walk in community. So somebody asked, this is a really good one. The idea is, I feel guilty when I'm going out and doing kind of something for myself outside the home, me time, right? I feel guilty about that. How do I deal with that feeling? How do I balance, sacrificing for the family, being there, but also, we need a little me time too, and I'm feeling guilty about that.
Yeah, I think it's important to have that conversation together and to express that, in order to be healthy and to be the best version of yourself for your family, that you do have to take care of yourself. It's not selfish. I think that if we are team, whatever your last name is, Team Bledsoe, we want the best for each other. And so we ought to be looking out for each other and taking care of ourselves.
Yeah, and I think the other spouse has to encourage that, because there are those guilt feelings. I think mom guilt is real when you're doing all these different things. So for me to come alongside Stephana, it's like, okay, it's okay to do that. Stephana, I got to eat every 2 hours. I got to eat. Stephana doesn't go a whole day. It's like, babe, you need to eat. So how can we help you get to the point where you eat at 3 o'clock instead of 8 p.m. at night?
I believe in hangry.
I look up hangry in the dictionary. You see my picture. That's me. That's me.
Yeah, that's so good. That's so good. So let's talk about this for a minute. This is a great one. So divorce rate is very high, right, in North America. We know it's very high, even in the church. And we know in a room this size, divorce has been a part of maybe your story, family member's story, your parents' story. If that's you, we love you. This is a safe place. This is a place with grace, and we're moving on in our lives to follow Jesus. But the question is, how do we support our friends who have been through a divorce? How do we love on them? How do we encourage them? How do we kind of point them to the Lord? What do we do with that?
Yeah. You starting?
That's good. No, you go ahead.
All right. So I think just the same way we'd love any other couple. I know there's different complexities and challenges for a couple who's been remarried or a blended family or someone who's divorced and not even remarried at all, is that we just love on them with grace. We love on them with truth. And at the same time, sometimes we try to push people into the next thing. They may have to be able to sit in that and just let God minister to them. Yeah. Wherever they are right now is where God has them, and he will minister to them. But you be that brother or sister alongside that is there for them. You got anything to add to that?
Yeah, I would just add, be in prayer for them. That's the most powerful thing that we can do for one another, is to intercede on their behalf, and then be there. Don't always, like we talked about in the nail in the head video, right. They might need somebody just to listen. Be that person, be that friend.
Yeah, that's good.
I confess, I'm a fix-it guy. I'm a pull the nail out guy. My wife can tell you. Man, we got questions coming in here. We're not going to get to all of them, guys, but we're trying. So here's a good one. In our culture, there's this idea that it's always better out there, or the grass is always greener somewhere. And so what would you say to a spouse that just kind of feels like, maybe I'm with the wrong person, maybe I'd be happier out there. The grass is kind of greener. Yeah. How would you encourage that person?
That's good. Yeah, I'm gonna say a quick thing, and I'm gonna let you talk about that, because that's been real. The grass is greener where you water it.
Come on.
And so that phrase, you probably all heard it before, but nurture your marriage, nurture the relationship with your spouse, the communication, how to find different ways and better ways to connect. And I think that will make what seems like is not good enough, or is not as good as it could be out here, even better and more fulfilling.
Yeah, and I will say, like Jackie said, we came into marriage backwards, doing a lot of things the wrong way, and had a lot of guilt and shame about that. I would say that his God's grace is sufficient. And so it's important for us to recognize that no matter where we are, no matter what we're dealing with, that we can give it to God, and He can help us with it.
Yep. Yep.
So we know in our culture, this is a good one here, it's a very deep question. We know in our culture that definition of marriage is shifting, marriage is being insulted, delayed, devalued in our culture. And so how does an explicitly Christian marriage, like a biblical definition of marriage, how does it stand out as unique or superior to any other way that the world or the culture might define marriage?
Yeah. So, I mean, we talked earlier, two flawed individuals coming together. All right. So we're imperfect, and just even from sex to everything else, we're not naturally able to come together and fit like a natural thing. But we get an opportunity to show our unity in marriage as a reflection to God and how even God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost is unified in one. Mm-hmm. So I think what we have the opportunity to do is just be different than what everybody else is. And that being different points back to Him. And so people, when they see you, we don't have to do anything extravagant. Just love your spouse when they're not lovable. You know, I guess that is extravagant. That's pretty extravagant right there. It's hard. But do the things that we've been talking about here today. But love your spouse. They're unlovable. We can do that. When people see that, it's like, okay, how did he respond to that? How did she respond to that? I know about them and the struggles and the thing. You've heard the stories like, okay, we don't look like what we've been through. So we're going to go through some stuff, but we're going to come out differently than those who are not living a marriage according to biblical principles. Mm-hmm. And when we do, that points to Him. We may be the only opportunity that someone else gets an introduction to Jesus by the way we relate and love on our spouse.
That's true.
Yeah, marriage points to Christ and the church and the gospel. Got time just for a couple more, then it's almost dessert time if you're getting hungry again and ready for coffee and dessert. This one's real quick, 10 seconds. What's your love language?
Mine is acts of service and gifts.
So I always say that means I got to buy stuff and do stuff.
Jackie, what's yours?
Mine is acts of service. So we're both acts of service and physical touch. So you see, I'm always touching, and she's not always liking to be touched. So be very patient with me right now.
That's good. That's good. My wife's love language is quality time. And as a very young man, I really screwed that up and did not do that well and had to learn to speak her love language. One more. This one's very relevant, very heavy. We're talking about truth and love here, right? That kind of level of conversation. What are some ways that you could encourage your spouse? No nudging on this one, people. What are some ways you could encourage your spouse to limit their time on social media and ways that you can kind of open up to your spouse about that struggle?
Yeah, I'll say the first thing is to model it because here's the ebb and flow in our relationship. Sometimes, like, I'm on my phone and Stephana may be wanting to talk and I'm scrolling and doing whatever, and so she's a little hurt by that. And then when she's on it, when I want her time, then I'm bothered by that. So I think the first thing is to model it, what you want to happen, in respect to them towards you. And I think as we do that, then it gives the picture and it shows, okay, you're doing that already. And I also go back to the communication things that we just talked about, is to start to get down those depths of communication and take the risk and share truthfully and honestly. And we say truth and love because we're delivering truth that may be hard to swallow, but we're doing it in a loving way. We're not delivering truth with a sledgehammer. We're delivering truth with a hug and empathy and grace, that the same thing that God has given us. And so I think that's one of the best ways to do that.
Yeah, and I think that there have been some recent conversations within our house, like we try to do it around a meal, around the table with the kids, where we discuss, this is what we want to try to do, and these are the reasons why we want to try to do it. And so we put some boundaries in place around bringing the phone to the table. We're not going to do that. Sundays, let's come home from church and dock our phones. So deciding together as a family, or if it's just husband and wife, decide together what boundaries you want to put in place because we're trying to preserve this relationship.
Yeah.
So the smartphone is not the little fox, but a big fox, right?
It's a big fox.
Yeah.
It's a big fox. That's so good. I like that. No cell phones at the table. I love that. We're going to do that one. That one's good. Wow, man, what a great evening with you guys. Let's give a hand again to Jackie and Stephana Bledsoe. Now, the night is not over. The night is not over. We're going to go for dessert. We want to keep the Q&A going. We're just going to move it from the sanctuary back to the tent, over coffee, over dessert. So Jackie and Stephana, you're a long ways from home, so you got to know where to be. You're going to hang out, right? So you're going to hang out. And if you want to just spend some time with them. Now, I know we got kids pick up at 9:30, so watch your clock, parents, on that. But we got time to get over and get some dessert. Hang out with Jackie and Stephana. Don't forget our photo booth. Don't forget our partners from Stitch Ministry will be over there at the table. By the way, that was our newlywed friends back there, only 3 weeks. So thank you guys for being with us as brand new newlyweds serving together. So in all seriousness, guys, don't be shy. Stop by there, grab their card. You know, you can say it's for a friend if you need to, but grab that card and just, we want you to know as our church, we don't want to just preach this stuff right from the pulpit. We want to give you a tangible next step that you can take and actually walk with you and help you. So that's why our counseling partners are here. If you just need some encouragement, let me say this publicly. I believe in counseling. As a couple, as a family, we believe in counseling. We met with our counselor this week. We think this is a normal and a healthy thing, and we want everybody to have that opportunity in your life. So let me give you some next steps. We don't like to do just events, and then the event is over, and we're like, man, that was a great dessert, and we go home, and that's it, right? So we want to give you some next steps to take. So the first next step is this. If you don't have a church home, let me encourage you, find a church home. We'd love to have you here. Come join us Sunday morning at one of our City Rise campuses. Go to cityrise.org. You'll see all of our info, small groups, everything. Connect with myself, with Pastor Kirby, with Pastor Robbie here tonight. Let us know how we can plug you in if you don't have a church home. Secondly, I would encourage you to join a small group. You talked about how important community was, right? And so we want you to not be doing life alone and marriage alone. We want you to be walking with other couples. The way you do that is join a small group. So if you don't have a small group, come and see me. Talk to me tonight. Talk to any of our pastors tonight. Email me at that same email address, ben.hayes@cityrise. We want to plug you into a small group. Another thing we want to do is give you the opportunity, maybe if you're here and you're younger in your marriage, or maybe if you're a little bit older and you're starting a second marriage and you're just kind of trying to grow in your marriage and you would like to have a marriage mentor, another couple who's been down the road a little ways, is seasoned in marriage, who would just meet with you one-on-one and hang out, couple to couple, and just love on you and encourage you and walk with you as a marriage mentor. I've communicated with 3 or 4 couples in the church who have said yes to being a marriage mentor. Dr. Carpenter, Steve and Jan Carpenter, you guys hold your hands and wave over there. Dr. Carpenter, yeah, give them a hand. They've been discipling folks for many, many years. Dr. Carpenter's retired out of the med center here, and they've said yes to being a marriage mentor. And so if you're a young couple, I would highly encourage you, take that opportunity seriously. And we have other marriage mentors. If you want a marriage mentor, we'll make sure you get connected with one. The way you do that, come and let me know. Give me your number, your email. You can email me at ben.hayes@cityrise. We'll get you connected with a marriage mentor. So we want you to leave here tonight making that commitment and taking that next step. Once again, let's say thank you to Jackie and Stephana. I'm going to ask Pastor Kirby, our executive pastor. I'm going to ask Pastor Kirby, since he was my partner in crime with the lipstick. Come on up. You're going to pray us out, brother. He's going to pray us out, and then we're going to go out these doors, back to the tent. Dessert is there. Coffee is there. Mix and mingle. We're Baptist, so we probably can't do a dance, I don't think, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. And we're going to hang out under the tent for a little while and fellowship. Thank you for being at marriage night. Don't forget your kids. They won't keep them all night. Thanks to Jackie and Stephana. They're going to be under the tent to hang out with us. Let's pray and be dismissed for dessert.
Got it. Let's pray together. Let's stand to our feet, because when we say amen, we're going for dessert and coffee. There's no holding back. Lord, thank you for tonight. Thank you for Jackie and Stephana, for their ministry, for their truthfulness. Lord, help us to hear what has been shared tonight, to take it to heart, regardless of whether our marriages are new or many years in the making, Lord, that we would go out tonight endeavoring to do at least one more thing to go deeper and to be stronger and to represent you in this world, Lord. This is what we know. Marriage your way works, Lord. The way you do marriage, the way you plan for it, it works. We love you, and we want to shine as a light for you, as a light for your son, Jesus Christ. Bless the fellowship under the tent and the dessert and the coffee and the continued Q&A. Thank you for Ben and our staff and church who put this together and gave us this opportunity. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.